Good morning, everybody. Happy Flat Fuck Friday. I cannot stress enough to you how much it's time. Good morning, Move Forest and Daniel and Rich and Ari and Wine and Carlos and Becca. Why? Becca and Wine, your names are black. And so hard. Why are they why? Is Twitch having a problem? What's going on? You have your designated colors, and if I don't see them, how am I going to know who I'm speaking to? Frankly, it's unacceptable. I guess it's having an issue. We're unclear. Ari, this sounds really powerful, I want you to know. I have a question for everybody that's really important that I need your input on. While we descend into objective madness, Feemsh or no Feemsh in the corner of the screen? What is kind of the mood of the Feemsh? Too much chaos for Feemsh? No distractions. There's no distractions allowed. There's only this. Camaro, fuck yeah. You gotta hear it. We're here. Welcome, everyone. I was going to put some gay instrumental Kingdom Hearts music in the background, but then I realized that I would get DMCA'd and then it would be muted, and that kind of ruins the point of book club where I'm speaking out loud to you. But, you know, what do you do? Welcome to this. Should I link this document in chat so that people have access to it? Okay, let me do that for all of you. And then I'm just asking general questions for everyone, and then I'm asking lo-fi or no lo-fi? Do we want kind of a vibe, or do we want dead fucking silence? This is the most important thing on earth. Okay, and then... Okay, you know what? I'm gonna pull this because it's funny. Silly hoof print! Hey. Oh, classical music? That's a that's a powerful energy. Wait. No. Alright, I'm starting the poll. There's a poll. Everyone vote. Camaro, when this document dropped, there were so many people in it, it was unimaginable. So, we're okay. I can't even... this caused chaos of the highest degree. Even quote retweeting the original post when I announced the stream this morning, I was just I'm so sorry to this person who must get so many notifications on this tweet every day of their life, and and I don't want to add to that, and yet I am adding to it. So God, it really is getting warm in my room. And I dislike that immensely, but it's okay. So, yo, friend, that's a good point that I never thought of. Oh my god, there's anonymous skunk and anonymous coyote in this document. Who could it be? Oh, I was the skunk. I had it open in 2 tabs. I was skunk. Okay, okay. How do I find, like, what is it called when you can use the music? When you can use the music. Oh, was I not the skunk? Okay. I only have it, I closed the other tab. I have it open in 1. Royalty free! Becca, you're the winner. Okay, royalty free. Piano music? Question mark? No, I don't want a playlist. I want like a 17-hour live stream. And if I don't find it, I will create it. Yeah, so your friend, something's going on with Twitch. Like, royalty-free classical music. 7-hour... No, I don't want a playlist. Maybe I do want a playlist? Classical music for studying. That's 2 hours long. I'm closing lo-fi. 1 moment. I need to change the... It's so quiet. Oh. Is this the mood? Carlos, don't skim the document. I'm here to read it to you, okay? It's fine. This is the mood. Okay. Understood. Let me open my chat. Alright. Are we seeing and hearing? You're watching me scroll. You're listening to classic music. We're settling in as a family. I'm putting on my ASMR voice. I'm not going to do that. That would be a nightmare. Okay. This thing, for those who don't know, is 488 pages. And this is the table of contents. This is the table of contents. For those uninitiated, we can watch someone reading it, but I won't, because that's my job. That's my job. Slave friend, I think this will be a highlight. I'm just like trying to figure out, because there's a lot of like, it's a lot of. They edited this for the DLC. They edited it like years later. They came back and they edited it. Daniel, this is just like a theory that a group of friends came up with after Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. And it got a little out of control. Okay. What if we try to make Kingdom Hearts 3 make sense and also make it gay? That's what this is. Everyone, look at these names and appreciate what they've done for you, okay? Someone named Jugglepup was involved, and that's really powerful to me. So Bear, welcome. Bear also with the curse name. Unbelievable. Riku Andy. No. No. Reach, you're correct. All right, everybody. I'm about to start reading the document. Are we... This is... Are we okay? Are we feeling good? All of the light of my friends in chat has been given to Yaoi Book Club. Okay? Alright, so Kingdom Hearts 3 is on its second timeline. How do we feel? How do we feel about that conceptually? How does a book club work? Do I, like, read a little bit and then I stop? And I'm like, how do we feel? Do I just continuously read without any breaks, without breathing? Bear, you gotta switch over. You gotta get away from the Farseal. You gotta get into the boys kissing. Always has been. Okay? I need to wait. Okay, before we start. I will start, but wait. I need to tag the stream always has been. It's just really important for me. Okay. Daniel, don't be lost. We're here together. There's no being lost. If you want to be lost, watch the hit ABC show Lost on Netflix. But we're not doing that right now. Okay. Wine's name changed color. I'm sorry. What is happening here? We're going through it. Anyway. I'm focusing, okay? It did. You turned red for me. So I don't know what's going on. Becca's still black. Bear is also still black. I'm kind of unclear. Oh, Becca turned blue. Okay. We're coming back. Everyone, your light shines upon me in this moment. Your light returns with the power of Yaoi. This is what it takes. The power of God and anime on our side will do anything. Right. So, Kingdom Hearts 3 is on its second timeline. An entire first timeline of events has happened, and what we play is the second go-around. The second timeline, up to a point, takes place within the sleeping realm, or what's known as the still relatively unexplained, unchained state. Already, I don't know what this means. So, get ready. In other words, some form of dream. We're not claiming it was all a dream, which would imply that it didn't happen or matter. Physically visiting dreams in sleep, even data, are pre-existing concepts established in the series prior. Consider it like multi-form / tiers of reality. What we're saying is that this functions more akin to an alternate timeline. It mattered and happened. Okay? So, basically, Sora and the gang have engaged in what's known as world line hopping, and both Riku and Kairi play pivotal roles in making it happen. So jot that down. Okay. The concept of dream worlds was introduced in the aptly titled Dream Drop Distance. Within this game, Sora and Riku are tasked to travel the worlds trapped within sleep after falling to darkness. We're proposing something broader, and so deserves some clarification. Dream worlds are worlds that fell into darkness, into sleep, and never fully woke up. Their hearts, the world's heart, dream of the time before and up to falling to darkness before starting over. This creates a kind of conceptually comatose time capsule of a specific place at a specific time. The worlds themselves have been freed of darkness, but a part of them still slumbers and cannot return entirely to normal until awoken. This is the case of the worlds we visit during Okay? The sleeping realm, as we propose it, may just be what's referred to as the yet fully explained unchained state. But when first making this theory, we knew the situation to be different from that of simply a dream world, but characters were able to do things established only to be within dreams, hence the sleeping realm. I'm already not understanding. Here we fucking go, everybody. Baby, strap in. As we understand this state, it's more like a container of these dream worlds, or at least a mass application of the effect. That doesn't explain it, but thank you. The sleeping realm seems to be a bit more conceptual in application than a physical place like the realm of darkness or the realm of light. It's more like a state of being within things. It particularly seems to coincide or intermingle with darkness, as darkness holds our sleep, sleep holds our dreams, and dreams hold our memories. Okay? Alright, everyone? Okay, jot it down. Get your notebooks out and jot it down. Another difference between the sleeping realm as a whole versus dream worlds is the inclusion of Heartless. Dream worlds specifically can't have Heartless in them. Okay, Yensid explains. Alright, here's Yensid. Daniel, it's not possible for you to do that. You have limitless power, but I don't think that even you have the ability to do that. Unchained State is from the DLC or maybe Union X. Okay, the two things that we did not experience. So we're going into this with a bit of a disadvantage. But that's okay. Alright, so Yensid is saying that they soak sleep cut off from outside channels and not even the Heartless can enter because there's the cutoff. Okay, but sleeping worlds have meow wow in them. There he is. These are dream eaters. There are good kinds, spirits, and bad kinds, nightmares. In the sleeping realm, however, Heartless can exist. Within a state of sleep, we've seen various appearances of Heartless and dives of the heart and cooks. These exist within sleep and have been shown to contain Heartless. Moving on. Time and fate, as we understand it, are hard locked into place. If something is fated to happen, it's unavoidable and will absolutely guaranteed bet your bottom dollar come to be. Powerful sentence. You can move through time, but time itself is immovable, okay? The only way we know of to avoid fated events is essentially going to an alternate timeline or world line where these events aren't destined to occur. Same world, slightly different fate. Unlike a dream world, an alternate world line is an entirely new timeline. It continues past when the fated fall to darkness occurs simply because it wasn't fated. We're about to chart you up a condensed example, buddy, and we're about to chart you up a condensed example, buddy, and have we got a ride for you? Or a train metaphor. Okay, all aboard the elaborate train metaphor. Okay? World line for dummies. TM. Alright. Imagine you're riding a train. This is Inception. Imagine a train. You don't know where that train will take you. The train is destined to follow the tracks, right? This train cannot change the tracks, and just like fate, if you can only follow what's laid before it. At the end of these tracks is a broken, rusty death bridge that's hungry for trains. Your train. The track is the first world line, destined for failure from the foretold and fated fall to darkness. To circumvent this fate, we need to switch tracks before we hit the bridge. So, we fell off the rusty death bridge once in Timeline 1, and miraculously got a do-over, Timeline 2. We're now placed on a kind of dummy timeline, a do-over, made of dreams, until we hit this fated point. And this time, there's an actual rail switch. Hitting that switch and effectively switching tracks is switching world lines, where we carry on happily, completely avoiding a terrible train accident. This is what happens between Kingdom Hearts X, Cooks, and Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, Cucks. I'm only saying it like that this whole time. I don't even know what Kingdom Hearts Union Cross is. What is Kingdom Hearts Union Cross? This is the mobile game, right? What is this? What is Cucks? Is it Kingdom Hearts Chi? It's pronounced Chi. The browser game was the story of your player character going through life in the age of fairy tales leading up to the Keyblade War and then dying. Okay. Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. The mobile game. Oh, there's two of them. Is actually a sequel where your player character unknowingly lives the same life again, but within a dreamy, literally, new world line where the Keyblade War doesn't happen. They hold vague memories of the terrible things they went through the first time around that get written off as nightmares or forgotten about entirely. In Cook's, Ava's mission, her whole running plotline tasked to her by the Master of Masters, Mom, was to prepare the Dandelions for the new realm they would be traveling to. Okay? I want you to go to a completely separate realm and experience for yourselves an age of no tragedy. Okay, so that's... We know now that what Ava's describing when she outlines this plan to Ephemer is the process of world line hopping. I don't know these people. Oh, there's that boy! And there's the guy! Okay. You know what? I'm into this. Look at these little guys. Right now what I'm asking of you is the separation of the other world. Very soon I will have all the members of the Dandelions migrate there. Is that what the masked people are called? The Dandelions? That's the cutest shit I've ever heard in my life. Why is he sleeping? Why are you explaining this, like, really important plot stuff and he's just, like, asleep? Oh, he woke up. There I will have you experience the same things you did here, but that world will go on, this time without total annihilation of its future. Like an overwrite. Yes, that's right. This is where the masked people are from? Yeah, they're from the mobile/browser game that we didn't experience. Kingdom Hearts Dark Road. No wine. What is that? I will have to have the memories of the annihilation erased from the members of the Dandelions and have the world connected to the coming age. Ava also explains to the Dandelions later they'll be entering a world like that of a dream. Look at all these guys. After this, when that conflict breaks out, I want you to not participate in the battle and instead depart for the outside world. You will relive things you've already experienced, only in a world just like a dream, in a space separate from here. Wine, I don't even know. So the idea here is that you live with the timeline up to a point of disaster in a dreamlike world with no memory of said disaster to then connect to a new world line where it never happened. It is after this cutscene that she sends Ephemer off to what she refers to as an unchained state on another plane. Lemur, an anonymous lemur has joined. A displaced state outside of the world line, seated somewhere in sleep and dreams. The thing is, Bear, I am understanding what they're putting down. I see. Oh, the charity! Then perhaps Ephemera himself spoke from within the dream. I believe he spoke to this child from another plane, a released state known as Unchained. I believe that if this child is connected to Ephemera inside their dreams, it means that they too will draw close to the other plane. Ava tells us Ephemer is within a dream, and that this connection through the dreams will allow the player to be pulled into this other plane. And finally, that the Dandelions will need to go to a world like a dream to relive their lives up to the Keyblade War. Luxu/Bragg describes further worldline hopping in Secret Reports 11 and 12. Oh god, Bragg. We're really in it now. It seems that someone has pulled the old switcheroo. One of the 5 is an imposter, someone the Master did not choose. They represent a virus in the program he so carefully wrote. The virus has begun a strange undertaking, a reckless plot to allow the 5 to escape into another world line. Surely such a thing can't be possible. We're talking about the same trick that allowed the Dandelions to transfer to other world lines after the Keyblade War. But these children are no masters, they haven't the means, unless of course a certain lady of magic summoned here from the future knows more than I do. I'm assuming that a lady of magic summoned here from the future would know more than you do. Even on a world line with no Keyblade War, peace is but a dream. In the absence of us and our master, a darkness arrived, one that will surely lead the world to yet another demise. Amid the chaos, I bequeathed my Keyblade to one of the Union leaders, just as Master instructed. I watched as the 5 were sent to another world line, at no small cost, ensuring the line of Keyblade wielders will live on. And now, Keybladeless, I must depart this land to fulfill my final task. This means casting my own body aside and sojourning my heart in vessel after vessel, as many as it takes. Great. Okay, so to summarize, I love when they're just like, anyway, summarizing all that, World line hopping entails a very heavy cost and means of making it happen, being sent to a dream version dummy timeline, an unchained state. You relive your life, traumatic memory free, up to the tragedy as a do-over. Once you get to the point of said fated tragedy and move past it, it now connects to and becomes reality. With these things established, here's our loose TLDR proposal of the timeline. Okay. Oh, God. Okay. Sora and Co. run through a possibly different string of events the first time in the real world, which is Timeline 1. During the events of the Keyblade Graveyard, all fall to darkness, the demon tide or otherwise, just as the prophecy was foretold. Seeing as fate tends to be hard locked into place, this will always carry to fruition, so simple time travel wouldn't change much of anything. In the first timeline, Riku still performs an act of true love sacrifice, saving Sora's heart, while Kairi and the new 7 princesses of heart keep Sora held together. We can't know much about the first timeline for sure, so this remains open. Okay? Don't worry about it. With this, Sora is able to go to the final world, first visit, and seemingly do whatever you have to necessitate a world line switch. This leads to the dive to the heart at the start of the game, now Timeline 2, where the player comes in. The dive marks the beginning of the tracks for a new world line, starting within the realm of sleep / unchained state to avoid the same fate at the hands of darkness. Completing the dive to the heart then drops Sora in at the end of 2.9, my favorite Kingdom Hearts game. We then play Kingdom Hearts 3 through to the Keyblade Graveyard where everyone falls to darkness. We hit the final world, second visit, just as we see in game, and Sora's given a chance to save everyone's hearts since it isn't fated to end this way. It's after this point we connect to the new world line, Fated Fall Subverted. And for your viewing pleasure, a rudimentary visual aid. Here it is. There's the kitty. So. Xehanort Gay dies after decades-long marriage dispute is how this timeline ends. And you know what? They're right. And they're right. Is the thing. Oh, not this song. Oh my god. Okay. Oh yeah, Dive to the Heart is like the stained glass. Whenever you dive to the heart, you're in the little the pit. Ultimania update. I don't know what Ultimania is. Timeline travel at KG to save everyone's hearts has been confirmed by Nomura. So, look, see where we said the second timeline went. Save everyone, time travel, Xehanort Gay dies after decades-long marriage dispute. That's been confirmed. Okay, question. When we leave the final world, we are back to the point just before Sora and his friends were defeated. Why is that? The power of awakening is essentially the power to put sleeping hearts back the way they were, but the impact of forcing his friends' fading hearts back the way they were rewrote reality and created a singularity. The rewrite caused the chronology in which they were destroyed to have never happened. Okay. Confirmed. Strangely enough, even though you can see we called it in our visual timeline, this is what everyone keeps saying debunks the theory. We called it, dudes. The Ultimania backed us up here, okay? So, they win. Now, the rest of this is a loose proposal, like we said, so take it with a grain of salt. Details can turn out to be wrong, of course, but it's the best we can do with what we understand. Honestly, you guys understand more than I will ever understand, so I respect you. Like, I don't even know what you're apologizing for. What we are confident in is that the majority of the game we play is within the realm of sleep and made of dreams. This isn't the first timeline of events. Riku's act of sacrifice is likely the anchoring point in the timeline divergence. Kairi is holding Sora together for a very long time, and the final world is visited multiple times, seen by us or not, as stated by Charity. The idea of a second timeline almost seems unnecessary, maybe a bit wild, but this is all completely exhaustingly within the confines of what this series has set up for itself. Dream Drop Distance, the same game that pulled not only the concept of dream worlds, doubles up on it by having Riku within Sora's dreams of the dream worlds, garnering us through stuff like this. Dream of a dream. Don't remind me of this game. A twofold nightmare the whole journey. You've been inside Sora's dreams, and now darkness within darkness awaits you. Okay. Something of this caliber really wouldn't be anything new. And with that, we move on. Down into the depths of darkness. Okay. The fated fall to darkness. As foretold, darkness prevailed, and light expired. Okay? The chess game, unsurprisingly, clues us into a lot of what's going on. While young Xehanort and young Ericus play, they speak of the Keyblade War and its fated fall to darkness. This should already clue us into some parallels. While speaking on how everything has already been written, Ericus talks about subverting said fate and very pointedly picks up Riku's chess piece as he says it. The fact that these people know which chess piece is who is unimaginable to me. Okay, he picks up Riku's chess piece. We're really in it now! Like, I knew that the chess pieces represented people, but fuck it if I was gonna, like... He says, really, I'm not so sure about that. Besides, who's to say I can't change it and maybe light will prevail? Remember when we say Riku's a turning point? Now otherwise completely defeated, Ericus takes his last remaining piece, Sora, and plants it squarely right back at the beginning, because he's a cheater. The 7 new lights that keep Sora from fading. Remember this for later. It's important that 7 of them are there, okay? Jot it down. And with this, we're going to leave you with a few extra notes before moving forward. This is a general note, but here Charity says one of the most important lines in the game. The edges of sleep and death touch, and one can't help the occasional crossover. You've wandered here more than once before on your visits to the Station of Awakening. Charity brings up an important fact that the tutorial world / Station of Awakening is within the realm of sleep. What with a name like Station of Awakening. Yensid mentions this in regards to Riku's dive into Sora's heart as having braved the realm of sleep again. Haven't you already learned how to restore someone's heart after it's been lost? Is that the same thing as the power of waking? I am not sure, but give it a shot. Chirti is the chibi cat, and she's voiced by Kari from Digimon. It's important to note here that what Sora's doing to save everyone isn't necessarily the known or guaranteed way to do it. There's a supposed way to restore lost hearts as a Keyblade wielder. Sora doesn't know what it is, and Chirithy isn't sure the power of waking is even the same thing. So this is rife with the potential to garner all sorts of weird results, simply because we don't know the rules and they don't even know how this will go. This will take all your heart. It sounds like a steep price, because they said that. Sleeping keyhole, that he walks inside. That's true, that is a sleeping keyhole, huh? I was blacking out at this point in the game. That's from Dream Drop Distance. Look for the light in the darkness. Chirithy saying this, also important. If any of this mirrors what happened in the first time around, we can believe this serves to give us a lot of answers. Now, with all this in mind, we move to start with, this is part 1 of the theory. Okay? Alright. So, this is a good place to stop and discuss. Wine, I'm gonna say that the answer to your question is because they're fucking insane. You know? Do they need to explain this to us? Like, these two playing chess, 2 twinks battling it out. Who knows? Rach, what's the problem? What's the issue? I'm gonna take a sip. Alright. Dive to the heart. In the previous games, we're led into the Dive to the Heart tutorial with some kind of preamble, visual, or narrative. This time, for the first time, we've been dropped into it without anything signifying how or why. It's also always ended with whoever was doing the dive waking up afterwards, so what's otherwise a strange break in form is in fact Sora's starting point for the game we actually play. There are 7 hearts to save. Okay. You know what? You know what? They're right. This is how the game starts. They're right. Alright, thank you for the sip. Anonymous Dumbo Octopus is in the room with me. I'm obsessed with the Google document animals, I'm sorry. Considering what brought him here, this line certainly stands out. Usually the disembodied voice/text guiding Sora or even Roxas through their dive will give cryptic messages, but it's also usually more than one singular line. Carlos, so the way that they're putting it is that, so in the afterlife heaven area, Sora opens up a sleeping keyhole and he drops inside of it. And this is at the very end of the game when he's like, I need to save my friends. And then this is how the game starts, with him in the glass room with it saying there are 7 hearts to save. And they're implying that the start of the game is the second timeline. So yeah. Mirrors are rife with symbolism, so much that it's hard to pinpoint on any one single meaning to attribute, but layered meaning isn't new to Kingdom Hearts. Notably apt for a dive into your own heart as a symbol for self-reflection and examination, mirrors can give you a glimpse into an aspect of yourself you can't otherwise see. Mirrors are also very often used as portals into another world literally, visions of somewhere far away, or even as symbolic stepping into a new life, another version of you, a whole new world. Him touch him own hand. Him. That last one happens pretty literally. Sora steps through, leaving his younger self behind. This is great as a showing of several things: growing up, leaving behind old ways or an old worldview, and literally traversing into a new parallel world/alternate timeline. Anonymous Nyan Cat is in here with me. In other words, it's super loaded symbolism. After choosing your stat bonuses, you're hit with a transitional scene. And not just any scene. A shot-for-shot recreation of Riku's ocean scene from the KH1/KH2 intro. I noticed this, and it drove me nuts. And I'm so excited that we're about to go through this together. He literally... This is the bottom one. Okay, the bottom image is the opening of Kingdom Hearts 3. The top image of the opening of Kingdom Hearts 1. Okay, so like waves come in, but where Riku's standing, there's a ball of light instead. I don't understand what Nomura meant by this. The ocean/water has always been symbolism for darkness within the Kingdom Hearts universe, to the point that being in literal darkness is shown to be like water or drowning, and this time Riku's replaced with light. The literal light within the metaphorical darkness. This is good to remember that Chirithy said just before sending Sora off. Sora fights against the waves before being forcefully pulled away in a recurring example of what the heart, literally as he's in his own heart, wants, versus fate/outside forces pulling you away. Like, it's literally the same. It's literally, they just recreated the same thing. The waves pull him away, and as he tries to follow Riku's light, he ends up in the final world. The KH1 visual parallels continue. After Sora's done with his spin wash in the ocean, Riku's light leads Sora to the surface of the water. Breaching the surface brings Sora to the final world, the last step before death. Chirithy mentions that the edges of sleep and death touch, one can't help the occasional crossover. And who is it that greets Sora when he breaches the water? In KH3, we get this guy. In KH1, we get Kairi. Oh, that's awkward. Oh, girl. Oh, girl. Oh, girl. Girl, help. Girl, help. Now that you mention it, that strange watery substance looks familiar. Oh, girl, help. Oh, girl, we're really in it now. Please save me. Obviously, we can't make any hard claims, nor do we want to. We don't know the facts about world line hopping or what the price would entail, but Kairi and her connections with this incredibly unique, incredibly strange darkness shouldn't go ignored. Take it with a grain of salt, we're just connecting the dots that we can see, okay? Don't even look at them. Considering the dive to the heart takes place after everyone's fallen, Sora is attempting to save them all. He's taken to the final world, the last step before actual death, only to be led into this interaction with a Kairi scene. Kairi herself is later seen made out of the same substance, missing her heart entirely. Yeah. Seeing as she's made entirely out of light, she couldn't make a Heartless, as far as we know. No darkness to overtake her, but this darkness isn't actually made of darkness, it's made of water. Water, a series-long representation of darkness, and importantly, a representation of Kairi whose name means sea. The darkness itself is even called into question, its origin and look a mystery. A colossal Heartless that arose before Sora in a land of endless sea and sky. It looks different from other dark sides Sora has battled with, but the cause remains a mystery. Oh, it's a friend. Kairi! So is this Kairi's heart, trapped in the final world, the brink of death, where they all were but a hop-skip moment ago? Is she within a pseudo-Heartless, like a guise? Is it a possible Shion situation by means of a forced fight to pay a supposed price for world hopping in an attempt to save her friends? We honestly can't say, but it's something to think about. Okay, the Ultimania, I'm assuming, is like a guidebook that had a lot of, like, interview stuff in it? Okay. Question. The final world, a place very important to the story, appeared in the game, but what kind of world is it? Answer. It is a place where those just a step from death arrived, connected to the Station of Waking. Up until now, the Station of Waking was always a dark place, where the floor was made of stained glass, where the condition of the inside of one's heart could be shown. But in this case, I made the final world a place where I could show that more concretely, a place similar to a portal to people's respective hearts. Within the game, it said that sleep and death are intimately linked, so if one's heart were in a state of sleep, and they found themselves in the Station of Waking, the idea that if they moved on from there, they would find themselves in the final world. Okay, Nomura, you can't. Okay, Jesus Christ, okay. That sentence was too long. That was too long for me. Okay. What this says, basically, thank you guys, is to arrive in the final world during Dive to Heart is in the first place, your heart should already be in the state of sleep. Nomura has confirmed before we see at the very start of the game we play, Sora is already in a state of sleep. It would be after this dive to the heart that we are placed in the potential new world line where instead of just falling to darkness and prophecy, Sora's given the chance to dive down and save everyone. All 7 of them. And not a single one is Kairi. Oh. Oh, girl. Oh, girl, help. Oh, girl, help. Girl. Kingdom Hearts 2.9, haha, great. This is so relatable. Just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Big joke aside, this is when the game explicitly tells you that KH3 hasn't actually started yet. Before we even get to the actual KH3 title screen, we have an entire first world, Olympus, and Riku's first scene in the Realm of Darkness. It's important to keep in mind that these two things are happening at the same time. Moonforest? I don't know how to explain what we've been through already. I don't know how to stop. And okay. Okay. What do we see of Sora and Riku, the two of them in states of transition? Their old clothes, old hair, right before the trajectory of their journey changes. It's a solid and helpful dividing point pre- and post-drop. But it also serves as a means to set up an important plot point, the power of love and the strength that comes with it. In Olympus, Sora is looking to regain his strength he lost, just like Hercules did in KH2. Herc regained his strength in the moment he risked his life to save Meg. How did you get your strength, Meg, when you jumped in to save Meg? All I know is that she was in trouble and I wanted to save her with all my heart. Okay. I was able to save Meg's legs because I was ready to risk my own. With Riku in the Realm of Darkness, we get very important character motivation. His love for his very bestest friend, Sora. He's finally found the strength to protect what matters. Sometimes you care so much for somebody that other feelings disappear, and then there's no room for fear or doubt. Gay. Gay. I'm bullying you. Gay. Gay. Homosexual. Reminds me of a promise I made. This is vital in regards to the timeline, as Riku's self-sacrifice, fueled by his love to protect the person most important to him, is pivotal for the timeline to diverge. Every act or example of true love, familial, romantic, platonic, what have you, within KH3 is followed by revival and resurrection, skirting or reversing death entirely. It's this act and its result that are necessary, and since this is established pre-drop, it means that Riku's sacrifice is available to happen whenever, real world, second timeline, or otherwise. Translation notes. It's important to keep in mind that the original text in this case, as Riku's feelings are painted even more explicitly clear, and how they're about a singular, cherished person. Yeah, in Japanese, it's strength to protect your most cherished person. Strength to protect the person I cherish, and then Hercules also says, life separated from the person I cherish would be empty. I want to kick Nomura in the head. While they even use the exact same phrase, important, treasured, cherished person, hers got translated appropriately to person I love most. In English, Riku's tied to a stick to a pre-established phrase, despite the fact that it changing is supposed to be a sign of growth for him specifically, a development of priorities, if you will. In Birth by Sleep, he accurately says the strength to protect what matters. He's 5. It's general. In Dream Drop Distance, when waking Sora from slumber while answering questions about what's important to him, and all the canon answers being about Sora, unsurprisingly, the phrase is appropriately upgraded. It goes from stuff that matters to stuff that's precious. So here in KH3, the specification of it being a singular precious person is on purpose. Japanese. The Ultimania goes out of its way to explicitly state this growth on Riku's character page. I want to become strong enough to protect the thing that matters. Roughly 10 years later, after many twists and turns, he has finally obtained the strength to protect the person who matters. Okay. I just want to jump off of a bridge and die. This is important simply because these scenes and the parallels drawn between them are purposeful. They're not only bundled together in 2.9, the scenes follow literally one right after the other using the same phrasing, a phrase they use a lot through the entire game. Later they're connected again during Sora's dive to save everyone's hearts, Riku's being found first in Olympus. Yeah. So if both Sora and Riku segments are happening concurrently, when and where do they drop into sleep? Luckily, Riku's is incredibly easy to spot. After all, his hair didn't change because the Heartless were hungry. Who is it that said during this moment, like, why the fuck did his hair change? Moonforest. Moonforest, you knew. Camaro, simple and clean is the way that my brain feels. Like any and every example of starting up in a dream/sleeping world, you start by waking up. And for Riku specifically, this is not only a sign of being in the realm of sleep. As it turns out, Riku's hair would actually be one of the biggest giveaways. It's something that can so easily fly under the radar, since it wouldn't be the first time the series changed his hair without much explanation. Starting his hair was cut short off-screen at some point, but changes to an even shorter, spiky look distinctly when he's in the sleeping realm. His Dream Eater hairstyle is pretty much exact in cut and shape to the new KH3 style, the only notable differences being a seeming extra layer on top and a bit more to the spikes in the back. Yeah, this is him before, and then he falls asleep and he wakes up like this. So... Guys, am I crazy? I was like, we're gonna go into this, and we're gonna have a fun time. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun, and we're gonna read... We're gonna have fun, and we're gonna read this, and we're not gonna believe it, but we're gonna read it. And now I'm like, wait a second, it's real. Wait a second, it's real, and it's happening to me, and it's in my house, and it's real, and it's canon, and it's real. Thank you for the visual guide. I can perceive. Him haircut. Otherwise, the hair sweeps on the side in the exact same way, his bangs are the same, and his side wefts in front of his eyes. Ears are the same in shape and direction, which is very distinctly different from his other longer hairstyle. Eri, it's true. It's also never brought up by either Riku, who doesn't react to it, or Mickey, who doesn't react to it, but does comment on his broken Keyblade. Bonus points for the fact that later, Axel/Lee distinctly comments on Kairi's change in hairstyle, which shows that characters in-world typically notice details like this. But when does Sora drop? Well, we don't actually see him drop specifically, but we do see an overlap point. It tends to go forgotten since it's so early in the game and happens very suddenly, but at the last possible second, we see of Olympus as a world right when Xigbar goes to say an important phrase. May your heart, cue loud noise and hard cut to black. Sora just blacks out. Sora just, like, gets, like, fucking obliterated. He doesn't fall asleep. He just, like... He's dead. Like, mid-sentence, he's dead. There really aren't any other scenes like this to speak of, nor is there an actual explanation for it either. The sound that plays as it cuts off is the same as what we hear before Riku passes out, though Riku's scene is quieter overall, both then leading to black screens. Riku's scene gives us the added bonus of the empty echoing sound made when dropping, just like in DDD. In fact, you can listen to it for your dang self right here. I don't know if this is gonna pick up. How do I... SoRiku Sleuthers 2.mp4? Yeah, I'll open it. Yeah, I'll open that. Oh no, though. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. There's not gonna be any audio. But I'll watch it. There's not gonna be any audio, but I'll watch it. Like, there's not... He really does just die.
Who are you?
He just dies. Okay. You know what, SoRiku Sleuthers 2.mp4? Save me. How do I get out of this screen? Get me out of the screen. Thank you. Okay, and then they wake up there. Did that mess up the capture? It did not. We are still here in the capture. We have few other examples of seeing any two events happening concurrently, like Olympus and the rod to begin with. But this and Riku's drop, both leading to either party heading back to Yensid's times out perfectly. And KH3 for realsies this time are not kinda. So at this point, moving forward, we're definitively in the sleeping realm. If everything else wasn't strange enough so far, here's something else peculiar. The logo seems to be missing a piece. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh jeez. Oh god. Oh, we're really in it now. Oh, we're really in it now. This is a good arrow. This is a really good arrow that somebody made, and I want to applaud whoever made this arrow specifically, because it's very good. There's been a lot of arguing that it's just a mistake. What do you mean it's a mistake? The $10 billion company Square Enix just, like, forgot. We get that, we do. There's clearly a cross gradient going on. Darkness from the bottom left to the upper right, and light vice versa. Even if the bottom left is a dark gray and missing corner is hard black. Don't worry, we're excruciatingly aware. Just hear us out, because there's an actual precedent set for this exact kind of tomfoolery, okay? In an interview with Nomura in 2016, he revealed that he hid secret clues in the cover art for 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8, because of course he did, I guess. There are actually 2 secrets about the illustrations from those 2 games. Extremely attentive KH fans might have already discovered them, but one is that Sora's movements change from sitting to standing to walking. One more is that when you line up the 3 illustrations, you'll notice that they show the flow of time with changes in the sky. KH 1.5 is sunset becoming night, KH 2.5 is the middle of the night, and KH 2.8 is night breaking into dawn. Those 3 illustrations have a message regarding the final chapter, KH 3. Carlos, I'm gonna kick you into the pit. Did you think Nomura was done? He sure wasn't. This is cute though, yeah. Sitting, standing, walking, and it's like, woo! He's gonna walk in the final... Oh no. Oh no, what is this? These party people were confirmed by Nomura to actually be robed figures, sneakily placed to look a part of the building, people hidden in plain sight. What's silly is that people had been wondering this exact thing when the box art had been revealed, and that got shot down too on the same premise of reading too much into it. These are little guys. I love when they hide little guys! Considering everything, what's honestly more likely? The full-on deliberate animation and use of the main logo for a big-name game series going unnoticed over and over again for 5 years, or it being even somewhat intentional in this series of all series, Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, like they animate it missing. It's on purpose. I understand. Now tell me why it's gay. If you were convinced it was a mess-up with the text overlay, worry no more because it's there, words are not. Not to mention also being painfully, visibly darker than its mirrored corner. Also, this particular example, clear back from the 2013 reveal trailer. From the get-go, that upper right portion has been very intentionally transparent. And if that doesn't convince you, the deluxe edition box showcases it very clearly, and it isn't hollow foil. Okay? What does it mean? Nothing? Really powerful. No, this is really powerful. This is what book club is about. It has some pointed uses we'll go into below, but we're not trying to use it as some key evidence to prove any one thing as it stands. What it is, though, is the perfect example to not take anything simply at face value, for you to look just beyond the surface. The willingness this godforsaken game series in its entirety really has to hide things just under your nose has been baked in since the start. We watched this whole document. We started this whole document with misdirection, as did this game with this logo. It's woven into the whole experience, and whatever it may even be relevant, it may be relevant to in the future, okay? As an addition, we wouldn't say this means we've only been playing 2.9 the entire time. We still played Kingdom Hearts 3, the 3rd one, even if it's technically the 14th release in the series, but we only played a portion of it, story-wise anyway. It's incomplete, like we're missing something key. Now that's out of the way, why a dream? To what end would that actually serve? The natural end for those whose hearts and bodies perish together. But some persist and arrive here. Rach, they're going through it, okay? They're going through it, and I, for one, have nothing but respect for them. Okay? To avoid death. After 17 years, KH introduces the concept of true death when the heart and body perish together. It's said that a person is made of the heart, the body, and the soul. We know well the heart and body and soul, on the other hand, haven't been a big factor until now. The soul itself is the literal life force of a person. It's the heart being cast out of the body that makes heartless, and the soul an empty body that forms nobodies. Dream worlds are introduced in da-da-da-da-da. And one of the first things they introduced as is a safe haven, a refuge for lost souls. Joshua says as much. My sweet boy, my evil little creature, I miss you. Something happened that brought their existence to an end. I gathered up the very last remnants of their dreams. I looked for a place to give them refuge. It was then this world appeared to answer my call. Here I thought they might have a chance to keep them fading altogether, that the pieces of their dreams would make them whole again. Twiwi spoiler warning, okay, for Twiwi. Alright, if anyone hasn't played it, they're dead. They died in the game. So the entire premise of the game is that they're dead. Joshua here, looking for some way to fix this, brought them to a dream to heal. This is also an example in cucks. Okay. Oh, I miss bratty twink Jesus. Oh, Jesus Christ. Carlos, it's Carlos, it's okay. You can know that. It's okay. When your player character is dying in the Keyblade graveyard, you're visited by Ephemer, okay, and Scold, your Dandelion leader friends. This is actually a flashback, one of the memories held from the first timeline within the Keyblade War. Despite your initial choice to stay and fight in the war, they try and save you by bringing your heart into the new timeline, into the new world line, into a dream. It's also worth noting that your player character in Cux, as well as Neku and his friends, remember nothing. Only the Dandelion leaders who are entrusted with the knowledge, the Dream Eaters, the characters like Joshua with special powers, retain their memories. Okay. Oh my god, Carlos, no! No! Come here, it's Twiwi! Alright. Okay. We're in part 3 of like 70. Here we go. Kairi. The art for these title cards like fucking slaps. Like they really did it. I'm taking a sip. Thank you. I've sipped. Thank you. I've sipped. I'm hydrated. I'm rejuvenated. Okay. I'm taking a breath. Kairi, for all she sadly doesn't get to do, is one of the bigger mysteries in all of this. With a suspicious death, a missing heart, and potent symbolism at our disposal, it's safe to say she plays a bigger role than we're being presented. If there's any one reason for why a dream, it would be this. The intro is predictive. Let's intro this with the intro. Throughout Kingdom Hearts, the cinematic intros have usually served as an interesting and artistic rendering of the events so far, usually as a means to generally refresh the story while also showcasing important and emotional scenes. The exception being KH1, where it's mostly predictive and serves as a kind of prophetic dream seeing as it doesn't have a past to draw on. Why? No! Okay, well, Godspeed. Enjoy my dulcet tones. The KH3 The KH3 intro stinks as a recap. It's at best a watered-down version of the Dream Drop intro with a sprinkling of chess and a spicy little dash of Xehanort. Seeing as it skips over pivotal games like Chain of Memories, ignoring Naminé entirely, stopping dead before Recoded, and most importantly Dream Drop Distance, the direct lead into KH3, this intro isn't a good recap, because it's not supposed to be. Like KH1, this intro is predictive. It serves a narrative purpose, functioning under the premise of it being Xehanort's game. It's what he's planned, schemed, and interfered in over the years. We're seeing this setup. We never see any counterplay, we never see any other pieces moved aside from his own, just what he wants and where he wants it. The key piece he's trying to get to is Sora. The key piece he uses to get it is Kairi. Oh no. Kairi, aware of it or not, is instrumental in making things happen. The long and short of it is, the intro shows us events to come, Xehanort's control over events, and Kairi's inescapable fate. So with this in mind, this shot, falling all the way down through every piece of the 13 Darknesses, only to find Kairi's piece at the very bottom, sure is something. Oh girl, help. The fact that these people know the chess pieces, Girl, help. Like, not only is this presented as past the board, past the pieces, all the way down at the bottom of the abyss, it's framed dead center, shining and important at the end of all his other necessary pieces. She's important to him, or at least accounted for. And believe me, this isn't the only time she's accounted for. Answers Report 11, KH1. Opening the door to a world's heart causes its walls to crumble. These fragments are seen as shooting stars. This explains why these gummy blocks... Why do we have to mention gummy blocks in here? Can travel freely to other worlds. I know the catalyst of this collapse, the appearance of the Heartless. However, it will take time to search out the world's doors and retrieve each heart. Furthermore, the doors can be locked using a keyblade, making the heart forever unattainable. I must take action before the wielder of the key appears in this world. If the princesses and the Keyblade are connected, they should resonate. I've chosen a girl. I don't know if she holds the princess's powers, but I will find out. She may lead me to the key bearer. I shall set her free and observe. I hate it. I shall set her free and observe? Okay. The chess set was like for sale with the pieces named on the website. Oh my god. The lore. Clear back in KH1, one of Ansem's reports speaks of Kairi and how he sent her off to locate the keybearer and observe, meaning that in any capacity, he's tracking the situation. Then in Dream Drop Distance, a young Master Xehanort is explaining how they pulled this off. We get a very missable hint. How did you know I would be here today? Simple. Yumix says nothing but simple before there's a loud noise as the door swings open to the heart of the world. Remember when this jump scared me? Remember when Kairi came flying out of the tree at me, specifically the player, and scared me? All we get as an answer is Sora yelling Kairi's name before she phases through him and he falls deeper into the nightmare. We're not saying any of this is malicious. In fact, we think she's entirely unaware of whatever plot she's a part of. Kairi is an unfortunate piece caught in a cruel game. Within this game, the few major things Kairi's involved in the intro actually play out within KH3 as her few focus scenes. This paints the idea that these key events were planned for or needed to happen. The key events being the cave drawing, of which they make a very big point to show the drawing itself and then it being completed. Leading Sora out of the darkness. Cleverly disguised as callbacks, they just so happen to tell us exactly what she does within the game itself. Following on this, Sora is freed and opens the door to everyone else to follow. This too happens pretty directly in-game as Sora's return from the darkness results in saving everyone else. And 3, the final battle. The ending scene involving Kairi continues this pattern. It starts with her and Sora reuniting on the beach a la the end of KH2. Finally reuniting after near constant separation, they run towards each other only for darkness to strike. Every shot this purple lightning strikes, darkness is at play, whether it's influencing Xehanort himself or indicating his influence and plan. It goes off here, sprung like a trap. The camera zooms out, showing them helpless, small, still separate, showing us the chessboard, the game he's had control over since the beginning, and how he worked to get these two pieces here. Okay. They are literally surrounded with no means of defense. This is more or less exactly what Xehanort needs. And just like the scene at the KG, Sora attempts to protect Kairi only to have it fall to specifically Donald and Goofy instead. This isn't bringing empowerment or safety to each other, this is a trap. This is a setup, and it's accurately predictive. It's further bolstered by the fact that Xehanort gets what he wants. They summon Kingdom Hearts. Continuing on the intro, it consistently focuses on Sora and Kairi's separation specifically. Granted, it does that for everyone, as Xehanort tears them apart, but Kairi is a repeated and major focus. Even what should be considered a somewhat sweet scene, it's still about their separation. The cave drawing, being complete, places it directly after they separated a second time at the end of KH1. Given Kairi's death, their following separation at the end of KH3, and even Sora acknowledging they've been constantly separated since the start of the series, much to his frustration, fate seems to have a stranglehold on the outcome of their friendship like two stars crossing paths in the night. At the very end of the intro, we're shown a group shot of all the trios. In a neat detail, the logo coming in overlays the Destiny trio. Oh god. In a concerning detail, the one strike that overlays Kairi is missing its top portion entirely. Okay, I'm sipping. It's hard to argue that this is mere coincidence when all seem to match up purposefully, with Riku's strike being the dark gradient topped with light, Sora's being the middle strike topped with the signature crown, and Kairi's being light with an entirely missing transparent portion incomplete. Where was her heart again? It is absolutely toe-to-tip suspicious. For starters, her heart is entirely missing. True death is the heart and body perishing at once. But our one other example for actual death within the series, Strelitzia. The fuck is that? Who is that? Does in fact show us her heart flying out the door and disappearing. She was also similarly struck in the back with a keyblade while defenseless. Oh, it's the mobile game. No, Strelitzia! No, Strelitzia! There she goes! Oh my god, Carlos, thank you. I'm sipping. Even doesn't quite line up, as it's much more in line with a traditional death, complete with light sparkles and everything. Kairi, unlike anything or anyone we've seen so far, turns into this transparent, watery substance before shattering like glass. In fact, Kairi's bizarre transformation resembles Shion's death more than anything else. Yeah, she did turn to... Who else will he eat ice cream with? Both their bodies change to what seems to be that same watery substance, something like ice, something that crystallizes and shatters with a glowing bright light. Why would Kairi's body, as a regular person, behave the same as a replica's in death? All this focus on replicas, on puppets, and vessels throughout the game. But there's this one quote by Yimix early on. The quote is talking about toys in Toy Story, beings that should have their own hearts in that world, and yet they can still be taken over by another. And that exact thing happens to Buzz. I can't believe that the Disney Pixar characters are going to be relevant. They're going to be important to the lore of this video game that we played as a family. Okay. We know that after her death, Shion's heart goes back to Sora, but where does Kairi's heart go? Where is her heart in the first place? We never find it in the dive at the Keyblade Graveyard, and we don't see it even when she dies. The dive in KG shows us we're unable to save Kairi's heart. It assumingly doesn't turn into any Heartless we've ever seen before, since she has no darkness, and because she has no darkness, she can't create a nobody by herself either. We don't see it being led by the Lich, we don't see it when she dies, it's missing, lost, before Xehanort ever struck her down. But don't worry, she's busy playing a really big part, but we'll get to that shortly. For now, gay. Okay. Alright. This is going to upset me very badly. This art fucks. Like I know we're like, wow. I'm so unwell. I don't want to do this. I can read about Kairi being missing and it's like whatever, but this? With the importance Chirithy places on finding the light in the darkness, Riku with his light in the dive to the heart and the second chances given, revival, from an act of true love, this is what we believe is key for the timeline divergence. This isn't new. If it's hard to believe Riku himself could even be a light like this due to his tango with darkness, let it be known that this has been foreshadowed for quite a while. While Sora has been a powerful guiding light for Riku, that doesn't mean Riku hasn't been one in his own right. In fact, it's shown repeatedly that he has a very, very powerful light within him. The first time we see Riku in the series is the KH1 opening. It begins with Sora shielding his eyes from the sun before it cuts to Riku's back. In the next shot after that, symbolic of his fall to darkness, that same bright and blinding sun gets blocked out by a large wave. The very first scenes of the series establish water as representative of darkness and establish that Riku's light is powerful enough to be represented by the sun itself. That's really powerful. So powerful. It's really... okay. So powerful that in KH1, it's a flare of Riku's own light tangible in that moment that gave Sora the Keyblade. Okay, there's a scene in Destiny Islands where Riku is being swallowed by darkness, a light appears, and Sora obtains the Keyblade. With the setting I created, the darkness that surrounds them is Riku's heart darkness. At that moment, Sora enters the darkness, and the light he sees inside is Riku's heart light. Sora, who was squirming in the darkness to save Riku, touched the light and temporarily obtained the Keyblade from Riku. Oh. Thanks, Nomura. Oh, Daniel's been sundered. Oh my god. Carlos has been sundered. What's happening? Riku and his powerful light have been reinforced as an important point since Birth by Sleep. It is his light explicitly that both Terra and Aqua see here. Oh. Both are shocked by it, both comment on it, and ultimately it leads to both of them to Destiny Islands. In Aqua's scene, her eyes in the frame keep gravitating towards Riku, but the moment Terra gets a good look at Riku, he recognizes the light in him and states it plainly. There it is. And Melody of Memory even states this outright. Terra was guided by a light to a young boy, Riku, and he bequeathed Riku his Keyblade. This is further reinforced in The setup in BBBS was meant to foreshadow what happens with his light in and both games were meant to lead into KH3. When Sora first starts venturing deeper and deeper into sleep, chasing his own dreams, he ends up in a dream version of Traverse Town. Here he hears Riku's voice trying to wake him up and pull him from the darkness. Reaching for the door, he stops, hearing Riku's voice. He falls back asleep, and we see his model change to KH2 Sora, brought up from that deeper layer of sleep by Riku's voice calling to him. We then see Sora chasing images and dreams of people connected to him, people he's meant to save, shown to him in quick succession. Every other character that Sora sees pulls him further down into darkness, pushing him further into the abyss. This is illustrated clearly when he sees Roxas. It's talking to Roxas that forces Sora from his KH2 model back to his younger one. His pain is what pushes him back under a layer of sleep, because he knows hurt. Okay? You know when you go through age regression, because when you see the darkness and you experience age regression in real time. The whole sequence is a back and forth of scenes like this cut through by Riku's words until finally he's chasing the last visions of Riku and Kairi. Sora hears Riku's voice again and the visions disappear, replaced by a bright and blinding light. A light that takes him to when they were kids, when they met Aqua, and when Riku's light was so bright it managed to call 2 Keyblade wielders from across the universe. Until we suddenly get a suddenly interjected Ansem Sod, the literal embodiment of Riku's fall, a physical reminder of the time Riku's darkness was great enough to eclipse his light. Sora is then yanked from his happy memory and very literally dropped, plummeting in front of Xigbar, who tells him it wasn't easy inducing a second sleep, okay? Riku's words alone were strong enough to reach Sora down within several layers of sleep. Later, Riku's successful in waking Sora up from the deepest depths of slumber, diving into his heart down to the bottom of the abyss. Turns out this is no small task. There's a Meow Wow. Is that a balloon? Can I have him? The princess was in a deep slumber only to be awoken by true love. It's a strong and wonderful power, like the heart's light. So we're left with this, repeated emphasis on Riku being light and on Riku being a light for Sora in Didida specifically, 5 times total outside of KH3 itself. Comparing this to Kairi's one example of being a light in KH1 and the mention of it in Chain of Memories, and how much more recently half of the examples of Riku's light have been introduced, it feels purposeful for a reason. But what is it? If they were going to tell a straightforward story, why give any cause to doubt at all? They've never been telling a straightforward story, so it's not even a question. Kingdom Hearts, straightforward? What do you mean? What are you fucking saying to me? Is this a joke? Like, the point we want to make is that the precedence and the potential foreshadowing is there, especially in the games leading up to KH3. Especially when the very last example of Riku being a guiding light for Sora, what they make sure to remind you of at the very start of the game, is in KH3's Dive to the Heart. So the total is now 6. I cannot get over this, conceptually. Like, I cannot get over that they did this. Like, I don't understand. They did this. Nomura did this. He did this scene. He did it. And it's real and they did it. Every Disney world that references true love also references the resolve to sacrifice yourself for the one you love. I was able to rescue Meg because I wanted to risk my own life. And then, yeah, they all die. Where half the Disney worlds were about this, self-sacrifice in the name of love, protecting the person most important to you at the cost of life, and how that led to eventual resurrection. Yeah. How Hercules and his worlds are directly parallel to Riku, what they emphasize at the very start of the game, and how it ties back to the power of waking. The only character that has been consistently applied to is Riku. All of that was to foreshadow what Riku does in Kuge, a last act of true love and protection. Sora loses all his friends, his strength, and his will to go on, until the only one left beside him is Riku, who Sora outright tells he's worthless now without his friends standing beside him. And here the running importance of the strength to protect comes to a climax, with Riku protecting Sora for seemingly one last time, one last act of self-sacrifice. Off the back of their conversation, it looks like he's showing Sora, the people you love don't need to be beside or with you for you to be strong. The strength from wanting to protect and to save them exists in him on all his own. Sora, throughout his journeys, grew more and more dependent on the people around him. He grew more and more desperate to not lose them. Where Riku's been acting mostly alone since the end of KH1, the only thing driving him through most games being protecting Sora. But ultimately, they've been drawing their strength from the same place. He's showing it to Sora now. Through his strength to protect, he's trying to inspire within Sora the strength to hold on. And then he fucking dies. Ultimately, the power of true love brings Sora back, or at least enables him to persist death, and in turn, with liberal misuse of the power of waking, he brings back everyone else. The final world is both beautiful and mysterious and riddled with pieces to this puzzle. One major piece being, how exactly is Sora still here like he is? Something's holding you here. Refusing to let you go. You're hanging on by a thread. Now, who or what is holding Sora here? The game presents Kairi as the seemingly sole answer, but it rewards you for looking at the stars, all with very deliberate flavor text. The stars that are unconnected to any character we know, but all illustrate the type of feelings that would allow a soul to persist in the final world. Unresolved love, romantic love, familial love, the love between siblings or close friends or even adversaries who enjoyed fighting together, love of all kinds, strong bonds you don't want to let go of, feelings you don't want to give up. Chirithy itself, Chirithy has no gender. Chirithy has no gender. Chirithy itself doesn't mention specifically what's allowing Sora to persist, but the only two voice cutscenes both purposely mention Kairi and Riku. With Naminé's start cutscene, we understand it's Kairi that keeps Sora's form together. Stick a pin in this, we're gonna come back to this one, okay? But with Naminé's start cutscene, we understand it's Riku's words that allowed Sora's heart and hope to persist, to arrive in the final world in the first place. You mean in my heart we will return without any proof? Exactly, believe. Okay? Thought it was all over for me, but a friend of mine looked me in the eye and said, you don't believe that. Yeah, close friend. When we look at the other stars present in this section, it becomes obvious what's keeping them persisting in the final world is this need to hold on, to not give up either their regards or their happy feelings or unfinished business, and that's what Riku's impact on him was. If you're somehow still unconvinced that Riku had anything to do with the final world, or that his sacrifice wasn't relevant to the in-game events, we have something fun for you. I love how these people are like kind of bullying me. They're like, oh, you're 200 pages in and you don't believe us? You little shit? We've made a little game for you to play, okay? It can be easy to miss the first go-around, but we'd like to call attention to the world logo for the final world, specifically the footsteps for starters. What footsteps? These ones, right there, right at the beginning. They seem a bit out of place. Why are there footsteps there? What does this have to do with the final world? Until you consider what it was that just happened. Let me see. Oh, Jesus. Calm footsteps walking straight into a large burst of light and a flowing of clouds. How strikingly familiar in both visuals and sound, even the sound effects are the same. Oh no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it, though. But I don't want to do it. I just don't want it. Tag 30 sword. Okay, what a fucking emotional... Okay. Plus, watching them back-to-back really makes the parallel painfully clear. Additionally, this isn't the first time we've seen Sora split into several pieces of himself needing to be put back together. It also happened to Riku, who did it. And while Sora's trapped in the depths of slumber at the bottom of the abyss, Riku dives down to his heart to awaken him. During the dive sequence, we're given a mission unlike any other you get before, which is tag 30 Soras. Wine, are you looking now? Are you perceiving? Are you here with your eyes? Okay. This is let it replay. This is the opening world logo for the final world. Okay? We're going to look at it. We're going to perceive it. All right. Little footsteps leading up to like a big burst. And then Riku walking up and leading up to a burst. So just a concept that we're considering. Just a concept that we're considering here together, okay? Okay, Kairi saves Sora's body. Riku saves Sora's heart. Okay. Here lies the biggest and probably most overt hint that Riku is more important in this whole sequence than the surface level is presented, which is almost completely obscured in the English translation. Whoever translated this game, I'm going to kick them in the face. What Riku tells Sora in the Keyblade Graveyard is repeated, obviously quoted, and directly attributed to being what saves Sora, keeps him persisting, and is the light that pulls him from the darkness. I believe in you. You won't give up. Sora's conversation with a nameless star goes a bit differently, too. You're not giving up. Not giving up, question mark. That's an option, too. I hadn't even thought about it. I think it's better that way. There's someone I know who taught me that there's no option to give up. The context of this conversation makes what keeps a heart persisting clearer than the English version. Sora recognizes not giving up as something nameless star is already doing, by virtue of her being present in the final world at all. And the biggest change, the bottom lines in the journal entry for this entire section were omitted from the localization entirely, and the English paragraph was replaced, is nowhere to be seen in the Japanese version of the journal. Oh my god. Camaro, why are you being a hater? Why are you being a hater? Go play video games or something. It's Yaoi Book Club. What did you expect from Yaoi Book Club? It's the book club for Yaoi. That's what the title of the video is. It's Yaoi the club for Yaoi. Peer reviewing. Returning to the Keyblade Graveyard, Sora met up with Kairi. Kairi had been waiting in the darkness of the Devil's Wave. The Japanese name we call the Demon Tide. Those are just like two similar words. With the power of the pure light of the new Seven Hearts, Sora's heart was stopped from fading away. Taking Kairi's hand, he returned to the Keyblade Graveyard at the point before their defeat. The don't ever give up will of a heart of light overturned the overwhelming power of darkness. Worth noting here that while they both say something along the lines of not giving up, Kairi's phrase comes later and uses a different tense and subject. Riku's words are the ones directly fitting with what was left as a quotation in the journal. I just didn't give up on you, and I believe you won't give up. Watashi wa... Okay. I'm not going to read all that. I'm not going to read all this. The journal very weirdly includes Aki in quotation marks in a way that almost makes it seem out of place, and just like all the other times it comes up since he used it, it uses Riku's exact wording. I can rewind, whatever. Like the conversion with the nameless star, the conversation with the nameless star that happens before Kairi says her version, Riku is the one being directly quoted, and you can definitely see how purposely this whole thing was worded so that down the line they'd be able to turn and go, this is why it's Riku. Long story short, never give up, he's in the bog. They drew him in the bog. He's picking cranberries in the bog. The cranberries and frogs must be fall. Get him out of the bog! He's in there! So why then, when it's time to go, is Kairi the only one mentioned? And why in such an odd scene? Sora goes back in time. We see Riku's self-sacrifice scene through Sora's POV this time, reminded of the message Riku's trying to tell him not to give up, before Sora gets plunged into darkness with a single point of bright light. Bear? I would call him that. Where the fuck is Alex? At a time like this? At a time like this, when this is here for them, like... With no direct prompting, Sora calls for Riku, reaching for this light like he reached for him in the KH1 opening, like he reached for the light in the dive of the heart. Him reach. Him struggle. Additionally, when Sora yells, "Riku, answer me," the light itself begins making an odd ringing sound, responding to Sora's call. Is it really? I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Riku! Answer me!
He jingles! He jingles! And we see him react to it with a look of surprise and awe, all while the light grows brighter before Sora flies straight into it. The light leads Sora to Riku's heart in Olympus, the world he went to at the start of the game to find the answer to regaining his strength. The world just before Mickey says to Riku, "You finally found inside you that special strength to protect what matters. Sometimes you care so much for somebody that other feelings disappear." Cool. Okay. And it's this world where Herc says explicitly, "I was able to save Meg's life because I was willing to risk my own." The light leads Sora here immediately after we get Sora experiencing Riku's self-sacrificial act for the second time. Becca? Banned. And to really hammer it home, to find Riku floating atop a sacrificial tripod, most likely a Delphic tripod associated with Apollo, the god of sun and light, seeing as it's covered in sun imagery while sitting in the realm of gods. Okay, interesting. I'm gonna have a panic attack. He's also the only one to get this special treatment. Everyone else just shows up in a maybe-related world before you jump into saving them. After this, Sora proceeds to save everyone's heart, except, pointedly, Kairi, because her heart's missing in action, but when returning to the Keyblade Graveyard, we just kind of run into her on the way. And distinctly, deliberately, she's off to the side. What are you doing over there? Which is strange, right? Comparing two instances where Kairi was the light in the darkness, in Chain of Memories, there's a little ambiguity. She's central, and it's emanating from her. But in KH3, she's not the source. In fact, she moves in front of it, eclipsing it. Seeing as Sora has to purposely look off to the side, we're shown that it's not simply a trick with the framing, but that she is indeed off to the side. This isn't to say Kairi's never been the light. Kairi has been presented as a light for Sora another time in the past, where Kairi's light showed him the vision of her grandmother. The light tunnel showing Sora's visions isn't in itself strange. After all, that's what Kairi did in KH1. Grandma. In fact, Kairi even echoes what she said in KH1 that kicks off the light tunnel sequence. Her, "I simply believed you wouldn't," a mirror to her, "I believe in you," from back then. But there's one key difference in this callback. Kairi is clearly the light in the scene, because the light leads Sora to a vision of her. He sees her after following it through the end of the tunnel, clearly and explicitly. Every time either Kairi or Riku's light has been shown as a tunnel to follow, they've been there at the very end of it. So how is Kairi supposed to be following her own light back? And if this scene were truly meant to be taken at face value, why do we get these specific visions inexplicably in the middle of it? It's interesting. That's interesting for me to think about. Sudden visions of self-sacrifice, both referred to as true love, accompanied by the reviving power it has. Except neither Kairi or Sora has sacrificed themselves for just each other at this point within KH3. Not to say there wasn't an attempt, Sora tries to shield her, and acts that Red is surprisingly desperate and hopeless for the first sign of danger she faced. Like his heart remembered she was going to die in this battle no matter what. But Goofy blocked the attack and nothing came of it. And most importantly, for all the danger she's in, none of Kairi's scenes read as self-sacrificial, they read as resigned. This light that Sora assumes is Kairi, but which she never confirms or denies, a light that led him to Riku's heart originally. This light begins showing him these scenes of self-sacrifice, and Sora makes a confused jerking motion. And in this reaction, Kairi's also confused, which would be weird considering if she's the light, she would be the one showing these visions in the first place. And then we follow the light back to the Keyblade Graveyard, and for no reason we can see, we get this. They go into the light, there's a solid 5 seconds where all we see is a white screen, and then this shot. We see Sora's right arm outstretched, holding Kairi's hand, but she's omitted from the frame entirely, because the focus that they want you to see Is Sora reaching for the light one last time? I'm so sad. A light that shines on him from the opposite side of Kairi, and the still frame illustrates this very, very clearly. I'm so sad. Thank you, classical music. Save me. The light source is clearly to the left. It doesn't even touch his right arm, and therefore Kairi, until the light takes over the scene. Why did they animate this shot the way they did? In fact, if Kairi were the light, if we were meant to take this whole scene at face value, for what reason did they include it at all? The light shines, Sora makes a bewildered sound as he reaches for it, and then they land in the Keyblade graveyard as you can clearly see his head turned away from Kairi, his eyes searching for something to the left. But all this isn't to say Kairi isn't doing anything. Oh no, she's probably doing one of the most important things. In fact, she just did it. Cool. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh Jesus. Okay. She just did it. Okay? She just did it. That's all you gotta know, okay? She just did it. In Dream Drop Distance, we get an interesting dividing line shown to us most are unaware of. When Riku goes into the world that never was, he first enters Sora's dream version of it. Later, he escapes Sora's dreams and makes it back into reality. What gets missed, or passed off anyway, is that only then does the world logo show up for Riku. It turns out there's actually a really neat and explicit reason for this that Nomura explains in a Famitsu interview. I want to ask more about the world that never was. Is that world a part of reality, or is it also a world of sleep? When the logo appears, it indicates the boundary between the dream and the reality. When Sora arrives, it's reality, and then goes into a world of sleep. Riku arrives in the sleeping world, and as you progress and the world logo appears, that's when it becomes reality. Okay. Nomura, like, I'm literally begging you to just... Riku even comments on / questions making it out of the dream and into reality before we're shown the logo. Okay, he's out of the dream. Just like Bart. Toe to tip. Toe to tip. This is a Bart, okay? When connecting to the real world, the world logo was shown to signify a switch from dream to reality. So why is it we bring this all back up, you ask? Is it ever even used in the series again? You bet it is! This, my friends, is when we officially switch tracks. The first time we arrive in the Keyblade graveyard, we aren't shown the world logo, ever. KH3 shows us exactly when we make the switch from dream to reality, and it's right after Sora finally manages to save everyone's hearts. With the fated fall to darkness effectively circumvented, time travel / power of waking effectively making it so it never happened, we've now clicked into the new world line, the new reality. Bear! Godspeed for your appointment. Thank you for being here and suffering with us all. This timeline's a real boy now. To boot, who do we know guides wheel theirs, perhaps into new world lines? Oh, Charity! And Kairi. Oh, Charity. Kairathy. Kairathy! Kairathy! Kairi's outfit sure has an interesting cute detail on her hood. These aren't just cat ears, these ain't dog ears, they're Chirithy ears. The ears may be a cute addition, but in a series that used something as innocuous as an X on Sora's shirt as a plot point, it's certainly not beyond something as simple as cute ears and a hood being a blatant tell. Hidden in plain sight comes to mind, like Riku's Dream Eater symbol brazenly slapped on his back. What's even more interesting is that they were purposefully omitted from the 2018 Pirates of the Caribbean trailer. The scene is a pre-rendered cutscene as well, meaning they rendered this whole thing out without the ears, only to add them back in and render it out again. Okay. Kairathy. Now, we could write this off simply as a change in design or some final tweaking, but we also know that the ears were an early addition due to the reveal in the form of the Cake's 3rd anniversary art book back in July 2016. Oh yeah, there they are. Wagon Man! Wagon Man, this might be a weird one for you, bud. This stream, this might be a weird one for you, my bud. You're joining us now. I don't know. Like, welcome, have fun. This is like, welcome to Yaoi Book Club. How was your trip? Are you back from your trip? To further bolster that this outfit was set in stone before the trailers, a following 2016 interview in December has Nomura quoted in saying all costume designs have been finished. So this leaves us with the fact that a whole new cutscene was rendered out to omit them from the trailer on purpose. Why go through all the trouble to take them out? Well, let's see. Chirithi are Dream Eaters, bound to a wielder to oversee them in their progress and help where they may, a guide of sorts. Importantly, Chirithi were also the only ones alongside the Dandelion leaders in the New World line that retained memory of the last. Now, we're not saying she's not Kairi, but we can at least see that she's not her normal default regular human self either. And with her heart definitely missing, something more is happening here. Perhaps something akin to a surrogate Chirithi Kairi, a Dream Eater version of herself to help guide Sora, to protect him. But protect him from what? Moonforest, it's more that it's always been subliminal. There have been certain, like, slight tweaks in the translation from Japanese to English that might have made it more blatant, but it has always kind of been in the like under the surface, and they are ripping up the curtain, they're ripping up the carpet, and they're beating us over the head with it now. Oh, Wagon Man, I'm so happy! I'm so glad! You deserved a rest after, and like some fun after the chaos. Young Master Xehanort? Is that Young Master Xehanort? Okay, I was like, of course, Ymix, my favorite character in Kingdom Hearts. Multiple cutscenes with Ymix stand out, and the most cryptic organization member by far, and notably the one who, you know, time travels. He talks like he knows this is already a Sleepy Time Worldline hop version of the world, and asks if Sora specifically can handle the strain of what's already notably a world split in two. Kimura, I think they're both made at the same time. Like the Kingdom Hearts is so popular in America that when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, they reanimated the characters for dubbing purposes. Like their mouths move with the English as opposed to them dubbing over the Japanese. But I think that they just like changed some things. Like they try to make it, you know. Moonforest, yeah. So like, oh my god, Wagon Man, for the love of God and all things holy, go to sleep. Thank you for stopping in. It was good to see you. I'm glad you had fun. But please rest. The way hearts connect in this world can provide us with a clue, so we made a copy of the world and then pulled those hearts apart. I wonder how you'll handle the strain, he says, evil mode. I thank you for the sip. During the dive to save everyone in the Keyblade graveyard, Ymix seems to be referencing the events of Dedede, except he talks as though Sora should know this specifically. The danger of using the power of waking to save hearts down in the darkest abyss is what Riku was warned about right before he dove into Sora's heart. But there's no reason for Sora to know, unless Sora's already paid the price, like he said. All that gallivanting, yet you learned nothing. Dream by dream, you nearly buried yourself in the dark of sleep, and now you're at it again? The lich you've been fighting, it's not like other hard lists. It exists to usher hearts down to the depths of darkness. If you chase it, you will condemn your heart to the same abyss. What do you think the power of waking is? It's for traversing hearts to reach worlds, not for traversing worlds to reach hearts. There's a high price to pay for wielding such power foolishly. There's no saving you. You've paid the price and it lies at the bottom of the abyss. And even his last words point to the consequences of something Sora's already set in motion, a price he's already paid. But Sora, you're done now. Your journey ends here. Your time in this world is... Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I gotta have a little fun, you know. I gotta do a little... We've spoken to the fact that worldline hopping supposedly comes at a heavy price. The Ultimania goes on to confirm that Yamix is indeed referring to Sora fading for abusing the power of waking. Mega Man, have an amazing time zone. When young Xehanort's fading away, he says, "Goodbye, Sora, your time in this world is." What did he mean? Your time in this world is over. It's hinted at in the beginning. Before that scene, he warned Sora there's a high price to pay for wielding such power foolishly. The power of awakening is not the power to bring back people to life, but Sora was using it to do just that to his friends. As a result, time was rewound, and young Xehanort predicted that Sora would pay the price by disappearing. Oh. Literally, you will vanish from this world. The verb order is different in Japanese. It was the verb fade vanish that got cut when he died. Okay. So if Sora's back on the fast track to fading since the beginning of the game, having paid a price so big it causes him to fade, how is it he's still there? I feel like this is explaining things in a way that's so accurate it's making me mad. I feel like I'm like, am I crazy? Am I delulu, as they say on the internet? Like, Daniel, your name. Thank you for this sip. Like, I'm like, oh, maybe I can comprehend the video game after all this time. Okay. Okay. Let's start with Naminé. In the final world, you can talk to stars. These stars are the remainders of people's hearts, a step before death, but most importantly, Naminé, the sweet baby angel, is here. Okay? It's very important that they specify that, okay? Of course, with everyone having fallen to darkness, you'd expect her to. She was in Kairi's heart after all, and says as much. She also explains Kairi being the reason Sora's form hasn't faded. And these things are ultimately true, but something doesn't quite sit right. It's said that with everyone falling to darkness, Naminé got knocked out of Kairi and thus ended up here while Kairi fought to keep Sora together. The problem is when no one else arrived with you. When asked about his friends, Chirithy tells Sora that nobody arrived with him. In the original Japanese script, Chirithy's even more specific in that nobody arrived at the same time as you. Implying that yes, people have arrived, but not just now with Sora. So how is Naminé already here? It wasn't from everyone falling to darkness just now. Nobody arrived with him. The only way she could be here right now is if she'd already been here. If some great darkness had struck them down once before already, like perhaps in a first timeline. Where is Kairi San Diego? This is the worst document ever made. This is the worst document ever made and the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life. And I can't believe that it's being inflicted upon me. I'm gonna go refill my water bottle so that I have sips to do. I'm not gonna BRB. You get to look at this. I'll be right back. hello. I hope you enjoyed the dulcet classical music. I needed water, oh my god. Carlos, you can't step away from this for 20 minutes and come back and expect me to be able to explain any of this to you in like normal words. Like it's over. Thank you for the sip. Okay, I've sipped. My water is cold. Where is Kairi San Diego? So far as we could tell, any opportunity we're given to understand where Kairi's heart is, we had turned up empty. Her heart seemed to have been missing the whole time, and by Namine's words, she'll return to Kairi once Kairi is recompleted. And if that's the case, with Namine being in the final world the whole game, Kairi's heart has been missing just as long. But where could it be? Where could her heart be residing? Well, wherever Sora did seem to find her, it was on what seemed to be Destiny Islands at sunset. A sunset a little farther along than the ending of the game with everyone at the beach. What possible place could, other than Destiny Islands, at sunset no less, look like Destiny Islands at sunset? Ah. It's Sora's heart. She's in Sora's heart and has been for the entirety of KH3. Well, that sucks for her. Girl, get out of there. Girl, you gotta get out of there. You can't be here. You gotta go. You gotta go. Comparing these shots, game engine switch aside, the orange fading into the blue sky of night, the position of the sun, the framing of the shot is all the same. Where Kairi's sitting, not in her usual spot, seems to even parallel Xion, whose death was so similar. An added bonus is that the shot in DDD shows clearly how people would have to turn their whole bodies, just like Namine and Xion did, if they wanted to look at the tree from that point on the beach. Ugh. Everyone's in there. Like, how many fucking guys does Sora have in there? Get them out. Like, get them out of there, you know? Free them. Kairi's inside me. My favorite quote from Kingdom Hearts. Whatever process that necessitates a world line hop, whatever price we have a sneaking suspicion Sora has paid, she helped facilitate it and has been keeping Sora's form together from the start. This also strengthens the possibility of her connection to the mysterious, watery dark side from the beginning of the game, whatever that would imply. Though what this means for the state of her body is in throughout the game is still mysterious, but not entirely impossible to pin. Regardless, with this premise in mind coming back through the game, there are plenty of subtle hints that now make a lot more sense. Throughout the game, there was always pointed and repeated emphasis on keeping your friends with you in your heart. So like, what does that mean? Did Sora, like, eat her? Did he consume her? He's like, I gotta keep my friends in there. And he just, like slurped her up. And, like, Sora, let her go. This isn't new to the series, of course, but every world where separation was evident and stressed over again and again, even throughout the final battle, Sora and other characters would touch their chests and proclaim their connection with their friends. Like, all the time. Like, it's constant. Winnie the Pooh. He's even inside Winnie the Pooh. The last scene is especially stood out as strange. Xion, for all her connection to Kairi through Sora's memories, isn't actually connected to Kairi's heart. She shouldn't, so far as we understand, be able to feel what happened to it. She's a collection of Sora's memories of other people, and predominantly Kairi, but in the end, the only heart Xion is derived from is Sora's. The only heart she should be able to feel is Sora's, illustrated clearly by how, when she died, her heart went back to Sora. If anything, this may be given more parallels to Xion, informing us more on Kairi's strange death. And we know because of Riku, Sora's heart has been wide open as a refuge for anyone who's ever needed it since birth by sleep. Close it up! Close it up! Don't keep your heart wide open! Oh my god, I'm taking a sip. Jesus Christ. Maybe there's somebody up there in all those worlds who's really hurting, and they're waiting for you to help them. Maybe they just need you to open your heart and listen. I don't know, Riki, you say some weird stuff. Given all this, it's no surprise Kairi's heart went inside Sora's in KH1, and it would be no surprise for it to go there again. Also, the idea of Kairi being a projection of sorts isn't far off from Sora's visions of her in KH1. She'll walk and talk, not just memories, but hold almost entire conversations from the haven of his heart. Also recall Yamix's cryptic warnings from Toy Box. The way hearts connect us to this world can provide us with a clue, so we made a copy of the world and then pulled those hearts apart. I wonder how you'll handle this strain. The strain of what? So early in the game, while still trying to regain the power of waking, he's yet to abuse. This line stands out as a little strange, but under the context that Sora is currently held together by spit and string, please don't say that. The strain of separating hearts could do a lot. Please don't say that ever again. Especially when there's the one heart, the focal point, Kairi, channeling the power of the 7 princesses of heart to do it. Remember when we said that was important? 7 lights from the past, restarting Sora at the beginning. Like the journal says, they kept Sora's heart from fading. They've been doing it the entire time is all. No big deal. Speaking of which, what would happen when one of those princesses, the ones holding your entire existence together, gets hurt in a potentially fatal way? Owie. This scene suddenly makes a lot more sense. Let's go to the beach. Beach? I need the tonal consistency. I can't emotionally. I'm destroyed. Real quick note with the DLC coming out, there was a mention of some scenes being updated and touched up, and I suppose by that they meant change scenes entirely. For example, they removed entire shots. Naminé and Xian looking towards the tree, gone. Donald pointing to the ocean and being stopped by Mickey, gone. What's interesting is that with these changes, it wonderfully paints our points for the original ending with how everyone is pretty clearly looking out to the sea versus looking at the Paupu tree. Whatever it means, whether it means anything in the end doesn't matter too much, but what we saw was definitely there. And given it's so different, we're leaving up the old analysis because those observations are still worth looking at. Also, I'm one dude, okay? Cut me some slack. Ketzel, hello! Hello! Happy Friday! Happy Yaoi Book Club! So while this doesn't change any of the conclusions we came to, we feel it's important to at least acknowledge. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled theory. Speaking of things that start to make more sense, pieces and parts of the ending start to come together. Initially, the perspective doesn't make sense for what the game wants you to think is happening at first glance. In fact, if you really look, the sequence pointedly gives you just enough information to tell. Look, we've had enough people nitpick this scene, so we're going to be painstakingly thorough about this, okay? As Riku, Roxas, and Terra run down the length of the beach, we're shown some very key things about the positioning of each of these characters, especially in relation to each other and to the ocean. Okay? Everyone, look and focus. Focus, look at them. At the start of this scene, Aqua stands in the very middle of the beach. We see it clearly. If she were to look straight ahead from this point, she would be staring directly out at the ocean, at the setting sun. I mean, she's not facing the sun. The most important thing to note here is that Xion and Naminé are further to the right of her, they never move, and most importantly, Donald and Goofy are the characters the absolute furthest from the tree. Yeah, why is Mickey so big? I don't like it. Which is real weird when you consider Donald's the first character to spot something out there in the distance. Staring straight ahead, he walks in a straight line from where he stands to the right of the sand statue, and we see Mickey walk across the beach to meet him. There they go. And once he gets there, Donald does the strangest thing. He leans over Mickey's left shoulder, points to something on the very opposite side from where the tree is. We know these shots and general layout of Destiny Islands. If these characters were to the right of the shack, and especially if they were that far in the middle of the beach, the point they'd be looking at would be at the middle of the ocean, not the tree, and every character is. Facing the same direction. With a look of mild or neutral shock, or you know, if you're Mickey Mouse, a smile is as close as you get to it. Main thing is, everyone's looking out at the sea. Except, pointedly, the nobody kids. Oh, my little children. My little... Oh, we're doing eye lines. We're doing eye lines, everybody. We're doing eye lines. We're doing eye lines. We see this with Roxas clearly. He turns to look at what everyone else is staring at before he blinks, notices something off to the side. His line of sight is in the last frame of this shot, doesn't match up with any characters in the same frame, and in fact crosses over Aqua's. This is clearly animated and clearly deliberate. Carlos, shut up, it's real. Both illustrate that none of the other characters were looking at the tree, and this was done on purpose. And then we have the girls, clearly interrupted in the middle of their date. Okay, you know what? Very valid. They're also the only ones clearly looking out at the tree, and while there's a hint of Shion doing it too in the very last frame of the scene, with Namine it's clear. She's shown as the only character with a clear reaction to what she's seeing. A smile. That these three look at the tree and others look at something else, something the audience never sees in fact. Donald from where he stands to the right of them stares straight ahead, and we see here clearly as day, Namine and Shion have to angle themselves to stare at something off to the side. If Riku is truly behind the tree in the shot, why is the sky behind him completely orange? Why isn't it blue or blue tinged at all, like in the Sora and Kairi shot? These are two different points of its sunset at two different times in two different worlds. Alright, everyone? Okay, everybody shut up. Because this shot is from within Sora's heart while everyone is on the beach. While we may not currently know what they're looking at over the ocean, we can say the only people who look at the tree are those who potentially were present within their hearts when they shared the Paopu fruit, possibly able to sense their arrival. And if Kairi had been the linchpin holding Sora together the whole time, what happens when you remove it? Sayonara, my good friend. How can you hate the fan theory when it says things like sayonara, my good friend? What about that? Remember the literal star-crossed imagery repeated between Sora and Kairi? At the end of KH3, they've reached a situational impasse. Kairi cannot exist and live her normal life as long as she's within Sora's heart, keeping him from fading. Sora can't keep from fading without Kairi desperately holding him together. As is, they unfortunately can't exist at the same time. So Sora, accepting this fate, not wanting Kairi to be alone, he comforts her before pulling her out and back to the real world, essentially pulling the plug on himself in the process. And that's just like the end of this big KH1 parallel. This seems to be they part. If the secret ending confirms anything, it confirms Sora returned to the sleeping realm in some capacity and Riku with him as his Dream Eater. And hey, Riku still has his Dream Eater hairstyle! We didn't see this part. This is the secret ending. They both end up in the city. Little kitty, big city. Okay, I want them to be correct so bad. They put so much into this, and I have nothing but feral thoughts about it, and I'm normal, okay? This has actually been confirmed by Nomura to take place after KH3, and that when Sora disappears in the ending, he arrives here, more or less exactly as we thought. After disappearing in the ending, Sora arrives in the world shown in the secret movie. Great. It's not Yuzora. This is Riku. Yuzora is present, but Riku is in the secret ending. It starts with them waking up on the ground, the telltale sign they've dropped into a dream, used over and over in KH3 alone, but this one particularly mirrors the drop into Traverse Town at the start of Da-Da-Da-Da. Becca, invoke your title, okay? Think about it. Really think. Pointed, seeing as Traverse Town is where we found the Twewy kids, and Sora has ended up where? Shibuya, baby! It all comes together. I just love not just any Shibuya, specifically Twewy Shibuya, evidenced by the 104 building. For me? For me as a treat? I never noticed that. I never knew that. I just knew that he was in Shibuya. For me as a treat? Nomura also made note that this Shibuya isn't the original in Universe Twewy, but Shibuya. Wiggle, as in some kind of alternate version. Is the place Sora is in the same world as the one in the world ends with you? It looks that way. Rather than saying Sora has gone to the Twewy world, the meaning is that it's not exactly Shibuya, but Shibuya. This is hard to explain in English, but instead of it being written in kanji, the name for Shibuya is written in katakana here. Okay. Understood. Although Sora promised Neku and his friends that they would meet again in Shibuya, the video is not connected to that. Okay. Carlos, Shibuya is a real place. It's like the shopping, it's like the big shopping center of Tokyo. It's the one with the giant crosswalk that you've probably seen where like people just kind of like walk into the street. But it takes place, a lot of video games take place in Shibuya. So like The World Ends With You takes place in Shibuya. So it's like based on a real location in Japan. But it's like fantasy Shibuya. In the same way that all the Disney worlds are like fantasy France. Also, like in Dididida, they're separated and unsure of where they are, searching for each other like before, but this time represented in a fun game of Spot the Color. The blue-green cool tones stand for Riku, and the red-orange warm colors for Sora. Riku spots this red light, where Sora spots this blue light. The blue light's a little harder to notice, and it's telling that Sora can't see Riku's light directly, like Riku can see Sora's, but the lighting is inside the car is more of a backlight. Nearly every shot's loaded with some tiny representation of the other, backlighting, a stoplight, anything, anywhere, and almost always present in a shot with the other. Always together, even when it seems like we're not. Maybe another addition to the pile of dream references is this shot. The pattern on the sidewalk looks strikingly similar to the top half of the Dream Eater symbol. It looks like a guy going rah to me. But that's just me. All this is shown in a later shot to be a repeating pattern on the sidewalk. He's walking down. It's still a purposely framed shot, so at least it's worth noting. Where is Meow Wow? If this is the dream world, where is Meow Wow? Yuzuru being here is 1, wild. But 2, another link to the whole dream theme that kind of strengthens things in both cases. It's wild, everybody. Seeing as he initially shows up in Toy Box, the world that's a concentrated rehash of da-da-da-da mechanics and themes, and now this, another distinct repeat of da-da-da tells that starting a dream, it's safe to say that something to do with dreams is happening, okay? Following up on that da-da-da-da theme revolving around Sora and Riku, Yuzuru is composed almost entirely of aspects of Sora and Riku. Let's make a fun list. He has 2 colored eyes, red and blue, Sora and Riku respectively. His name Yuzora means night sky. Verum Rex means true king. Okay? His outfit is clearly like Riku's, although Sora is wearing it in Toy Box for no explained reason and even questions it. His hair parts from the same spot on his left like Sora does. He's, at least in Verum Rex, wields an arrow gun. Sora and broadsword for Riku. Anyway, so this bad boy's looking like Dream Drop Distance 2 the 2-boy Boogaloo. Consider me intrigued. Dream Drop Distance 2 the 2-boy Boogaloo. But where is Meow Wow? Like... The signs were there all along. Now with the overall theory there and done, let's look at the nitty-gritty details that led us here. Through the game, there are many little unexplained oddities, things that could be written off, brushed aside as video game things that maybe you don't notice the first time around, but are entirely too consistent in nature to ignore once you spot it. This is just a collection of things we found parsing through under the pretense of, oh my god, they're in the realm of sleep. Big or small, pure coincidence, it's in the list. Games tend to add new mechanics and improve on what's old. It's easy to write things off simply as video game stuff, which is fair, but Kingdom Hearts often utilizes its game mechanics as a narrative tool. For example, in Dream Drop Distance, one of the biggest hints that Riku was a Dream Eater the whole time was hidden in plain sight within an unassuming game mechanic. When you'd link with Dream Eaters as Sora, he would always do something with them, whereas Riku, he would merge with them, since he himself was a Dream Eater. Nomura even commented on this being purposeful in a pre-release interview. Sora cooperates with the Dream Eaters directly, but Riku combines with them and fights as an individual. The difference between them was something I decided on from the beginning, but how the styles would be, I knew it'd have to be clearly defined. From the start, I wanted the system and story to link, so their difference too has meaning and a reason for it regarding the story. The last scene will have a lot of impact. Various connections are developed upon, and it ends just in a prelude to the final battle. It's a simple thing that, without knowing context, isn't something one would give much thought. but it's been proven before that even small details like that shouldn't be disregarded so easily. So with that in mind, keep moving forward. One of the more easily noticed points is that post-world line connection, only then do we start seeing actual dream portals. The portals in the final world and to and from Scala Calum, whatever the fuck you say, both of which we know are connected to dreams, are bright pink, just like the special portals we see in Da-Da-Da-Da. Why he have mushroom boys? Where's Meow Wow? You fucking idiots, you cowards. Portals are noted by Joshua in Da-Da-Da as a means to traverse to a different worlds, and so far as we understand it, are created from the dreams themselves. He needs and uses Rhyme's dreams to create and use his own portal, causing her memory loss, and reinforcing what we said before. Darkness, sleep, dreams, memories. His portal is unlike any other colors were shown, being a kind of yellow-green. This may be due to the circumstance of jumping between a world and its dreamt-up copy. Interestingly, the KH3 battle gates are blue, for whatever distinction that's worth. We're not sure if it means anything really, but it's worth acknowledging at least. The important takeaway is that we've repeatedly been shown these portals being used to traverse from the real world to dreams and vice versa. Riku uses one of these portals to go from the real world into Sora's sleep, to dive down to his heart, lost deep in the abyss. Also, by Sora to travel through Xehanort into Skakal. Okay? Oh. Another game mechanic turned really big tell is our cat dog thing shaped like a friend. His name is Bumpus. And this is vital, they named him Bumpus. Thank you, I will be sure to call him as such from now on in this document. Okay. Generally, Dream Eaters only exist inside dreams/sleeping worlds to protect whoever or whatever is dreaming from nightmares. The end of Da-Da-Da-Da makes a point of Sora going back into the sleeping world Traverse Town to say goodbye. In KH3, however, we're given our summon MacGuffin, called a Heartbinder. Despite that it's got the symbol on it directly, there's still no mention of dreams or Dream Eaters, just that it's a charm that works for Sora as his strength comes from his bonds with people. What's even more interesting is that every single Link summon otherwise is in some way incorporeal, as in not real, some kind of element and or pulled from somewhere far away, from where Meow Wow, Bumpus, by comparison, is seen completely normal. Bumpus. Everyone's a ghost. But then he's... This person named their Meow Wow Bumpus when they played Dream Drop Distance, so it's really important that we refer to him as Bumpus for them, because he's a good boy. The species is called Meow Wow, but then he's Bumpus. And I have nothing but respect and love for him. We can walk on air, don't worry about it. Flow motion is the biggest example of simply bringing forward pre-established game mechanics, especially seeing as it's showcased in a bit in 0.2, but not nearly in the level of what Sora's doing constantly. So this by itself isn't strictly a dream mechanic, but it remains that we're literally only been introduced to it being a thing within the sleeping worlds, and then we have attraction flow. God. While flow motion can be seen as a magically enhanced kind of physical skill, attraction flows are pretty much just summoned magical light rides made of fun, dreams, and fairy lights, much more akin to reality shifts than anything else. They even share the dreamlike carnival motifs that Da-Da-Da had. There's a section in Ultimania showing concept art and planning for attraction flows. Oh, yay! In the bottom corner, there's an in-game concept example with Sora in the Dream Drop Distance outfit, set in Dream Drop Distance Traverse Town. You know, okay, okay. You guys, we're really in it now. I cannot express this enough that we are really in it now. Bring back Meow Wow. Now we kept bringing up how DDD used their outfits to signal plot twists to show how nothing was off the table when it comes to Nomura, right? So it'd be a little remiss to not mention the fun little fact we've learned, that Sora's KH3 outfit is literally confirmed to be a fusion of his KH2 outfit and his DDD one. I'm so tired. You know what? Yeah. Whether you want to take this to mean anything is up to you. It could really just be melding outfits together to keep Sora recognizable and play homage to a fan-favorite design. But we can't ignore that Sora's clothes have already been a canonical plot point, so this is something we're including anyway. We talked a bit at length about the mirror symbolism in Drop to the Heart, how Sora literally phases through a mirror and into his older self, and how mirrors are commonly used to symbolize traveling to parallel worlds, a flip side of reality. Now, there are a couple of odd details in the worlds of KH3 that make the mirror symbolism something more of note. When we first enter Twilight Town, the first out-of-place comment Sora makes of it is about the tram. It's a tiny little throwaway thing, fits exactly into all the other deja vu moments and weird pointed scenes that Sora's had at the beginning of each world. Before anything else, the tram is the first thing Sora calls attention to, the first thing we're meant to notice about the KH3 Twilight Town. In and of itself, this wouldn't be anything to comment on. Except there is something off about it. It's moving in the opposite direction of every other game it's appeared in. I just don't want to be here anymore. I just don't want to be here anymore. I can't be here anymore. I can't be here. Like, There might be more examples of this in-game, but given how subtle it would be, it's a little hard to look for, since, well, it could conceivably be anything. Like the fact that after Birth by Sleep, after Aqua spent a prolonged amount of time in the Realm of Darkness, the teeth of the Master Defender Keyblade flipped upside down. You could even say the little corner piece nub there flipped from left to right. Oh, it flipped up. It was down, and then it's up. Okay. Or like the Ultima weapon, just like the tram out of all the games it appeared in, 7 since 2002, for the first time the heart on the Ultima keychain is inverted. The half-heart symbol is on the left instead of the right. It's very unlikely these are just coincidences, considering the only other example we have of things being flipped, most notably to the left instead of the right, is in Dididida. In The World Ends With You, spoilers. Carlos, close your eyes, plug your ears. Close your eyes, plug your ears. Okay? In Twowie, you're part of the Reaper's game. In this game, you complete missions on a timer to fight for another chance at life, because you're dead. The timer is always located on the right hand. There it is. In Dreamed Up Distance, on the other hand, it's on the left. What a strangely specific detail only found within Dream Worlds. Hey, what was it Sora was doing when he woke up? He looks at the palm of his left hand. Of course he does. Okay. Gay. In everyone's excitement, we really took for granted how out of place Reality Shift actually was, and how little it would make sense for them to do it outside of a dream. Unlike Flow Motion, the idea of Reality Shift is because they're in a dream. They can do things that wouldn't happen otherwise. There's a section that elaborates little on the combined Keyblade, confirming it to be the very same we see in Dream Drop Distance. Top text. During the special event in the Realm of Darkness, when Sora and Riku deal the finishing blow against the Demon Tower, the two of them use their fusion Keyblade. That Keyblade is the same one that appeared in 3D. In 3D, this fusion Keyblade appeared in the world that never was when using Reality Shift. Not only do we have the Gayblade TM, Reality Shift, make an appearance in the Realm of Darkness, we also had something that was so quick and missable that even after going through it frame by frame, it doesn't make any goddamn sense as to how it could possibly happen, so we swept it under the rug, it's just a game thing, but we were fools, absolute buffoons, of course it's something Nomura accounted for. Okay. Link Block is a defense command exclusive to Sora in Dream Drop Distance, which allows him to warp in front of his Dream Eater just before they're hit, blocking the attack. Now, why are we mentioning Link Block? Sora used Link Block to warp to Riku to guard him from Aqua, just like the clip from Dream Drop Distance. It's instantaneous. Even up to the last frame, there is nothing between Aqua and Riku aside from unbridled fear. Not only does this reaffirm that Riku is still in fact Sora's Dream Eater, since the ability is for Dream Eaters specifically, it doubles down on Sora still being able to use his abilities from the Sleeping Realm. This otherwise shouldn't be possible with the rules we currently know. Riku states at least this much in DDD. I know I'm back in the real world, but I still have my Dream Eater powers, which means he still hasn't woken up. Does this mean every time Sora goes down for a little nappy, Riku gains Dream Eater powers? We don't know. But at least we know that Riku's Dream Eater status requires Sora to be in some state of sleep. Thus, Sora using a Dream Eater's specific ability, when he uses to jump to Riku, would point to him being in Sleepy Time Junction. And Riku a Dream Eater because of it. This is gonna have to be a two-parter, yeah. We're halfway through. You can't see my scroll bar? We are, like, exactly halfway through. So, and also, I'm going to have to end a little early because my mom wants to have lunch, as we do on Fridays, so. Yep, there's over 200 pages left. So. How do we feel about that conceptually? Are we feeling good about it? I have a feeling in my throat from speaking that cannot be quantified, and we're halfway through. Okay? So I'm going to, with the pictures, of course, but so I'm going to go till like 12:30, maybe 12:35, kind of push it. I didn't think this was going to be one stream. I didn't think it was going to be one stream. I just, we're doing the best we can. As discussed previously, we have a very clear drop point for Riku during 2.9. The scene transitions from inside the Demon Tower to a black screen with only Mickey calling out to Riku to wake up, but this isn't the only time it happens. God, he's so pretty. This person understands me on like a spiritual level. In Corona, Marluxia put Sora to sleep, something easily brushed aside and accepted as a way to move the plot forward. However, it plays out exactly as it did for Riku. It transitions from a black screen, they're being asked to wake up, and we have a close-up of the face. The only difference here is that Sora gets a lovely bath from Maximus. The music that plays during this scene is actually a cut-off version of the song Nightmare from Dream Drop Distance. With the data mined files, you can hear the whole song after the cutoff point. This song plays during Yumix's entire spiel about time travel, which certainly warrants being called a nightmare. Okay. Anyway, this additional drop certainly isn't the only one. In fact, it happens a number of times through several different worlds, and it's often, not always, accompanied with the same drooping noise recognized from Zigbar's drop scene in Olympus. Below we'll list the other drops with links to a timestamp video. That way you can both hear and see what we're talking about. I'm not going to play this on stream, but because it's going to be a nightmare to like change the stream to like, but you know what? They're here. Liar rat caught lying one last time. Think about this. We can only speculate these instances are other additional drop points, each time with Sora going further into sleep and deeper into darkness. With each new layer, the dream effects crank up. With this in mind, there's something particular about the Caribbean that's important to point out. Sora's newfound ability to breathe underwater. Sora falls into the ocean after his battle with the giant flying Heartless. He hits the water and it cuts to black. Cue wake up scene on the beach. It's after this we get more of the free-form water exploration. What's interesting here is that at the start of Pirates of the Caribbean, Sora can't breathe or speak underwater despite his best efforts. Additionally, Donald and Goofy are noticeably gasping for air as the ship resurfaces, like one does. But after this supposed dive, they can talk, breathe, do whatever they want underwater, no problem. Gee, how convenient. Now, continuing on this, normally, you can't, believe it or not. Just like in Dream Drop Distance's Prankster Paradise, Sora can breathe underwater with no issue. In fact, he can even talk, and it's never even questioned, where it usually, understandably, has been in the past. Boy, the air here sure is humid. We get the same effect in the Caribbean Sea in the Skelliot on Kellum. The first after a supposed drop, and the second when you jettison yourself into Xehanort's time portal dream something. Hey, check out the Daybreak Town Clock Tower. That's neat, huh? I hate you. Mega Magician? Welcome? You're not gonna understand. You can't join in now and understand what's going on. I'm so sorry, but I'm so happy you're here. There's no outright explanation for it, and importantly, Sora and the gang aren't the only ones affected, namely Xehanort. See, this would imply a mass application of the rule, where otherwise in KH1 and 2, Sora needs transformation magic in order to breathe underwater, which is supposed to be directly from Donald's magic and only applied to them. Hey! Speaking of the supposedly impossible, saving Aqua as they set it up shouldn't have ever happened! It's established early on in the game that Aqua was at the Dark Margin, the same shore both Sora and Riku found themselves on at the end of KH2. This is confirmed again when she's later found there by Riku and Mickey on their return visit to the Realm of Darkness. But up until this point, their entire mission revolved around the need to find somebody who was close enough to Aqua and dive down deep enough to save her, like Riku had done for Sora. They have almost no options and resort to following her steps, trying to find anybody she may have been friends with, but we never actually see this come to fruition. Sora, with Ven's heart, is really the only one able to, but even he doesn't manage to get the chance. Riku and Mickey discover her unexpectedly before Sora's intervention to save them. Oh god. Mega Magician, thank you for the sit. Even Aqua's descent into the abyss is almost the exact same as Sora's in Dream Drop Distance. Darkness spreads across their bodies until they're covered entirely, being dragged down into the abyss. Unlike Sora, who has Ven's armor to protect him directly from the darkness, Aqua was defenseless. Their bodies are also similarly covered with a shadowy, inky black until it gives way to some more recognizable form. She's deep down there, we know this for a fact, but we don't know how on earth they got to her, especially when they made a point of being unable to reach her down here without the aid of somebody she was close to. Sora's heart's in the deepest abyss. If Riku's not careful, he might just get trapped down there with him. We brought up before how sleep and darkness intermingle, how darkness contains sleep. They're also both often presented or referred to as physically downwards, dive to the heart, bottom of the abyss, falling to asleep, etc. So at this point on this timeline, they're already a layer of sleep deep. 1 foot in the darkness, if you will. This would also physically place them closer to Aqua, who fell down into the abyss, perhaps enabling a faint connection that otherwise would have been impossible in the waking world. This is then made even more viable if you consider the entire game up to this point of saving her had had multiple drops deeper and deeper into sleep into the abyss. And if that doesn't float your boat, don't worry, the game has you covered. What do we mean? Well, with the effects of diving into sleep, enabling Sora and Ko to breathe and speak underwater, did it occur to any of us why exactly it is that we can now walk on water, other than just being sick as hell, of course? Because, no, it's not just something special to Aqua who's fallen into darkness, seeing as both Riku and Sora also walk all over it, no questions asked. It's also not something special to the Realm of Darkness either. We're shown earlier in the game, before Aqua fell to darkness, actually before the start of the game, that when she's tossed like a rock, she sinks like one too. Sploosh. She sinks right into the water just the way you would expect somebody to. This is within the Realm of Darkness, but it's very much in the real world. It's only after that we see her overcome with that creeping darkness. It's then that her heart gets lost deeper down to the abyss, where Mickey can't reach her. I hate when Mickey Mouse can't reach me because I'm so deep in the abyss. It happens to me all the time, and I'm so sad about it. And it's later when we finally catch up with her do we get to see an almost exact repeat, a direct comparison from before. Only this time she hits it like a solid surface before slowly sinking in. With each dive, the dream effects are cranked up, both enabling them to reach her and enabling everybody to walk on water like it's yesterday's fad, no big deal. And with such a direct comparison, whether it's what we propose or not, it's hard to say something didn't change between then and now. Actually, it's very reminiscent, once again, of Sora and his fall to darkness. After he's freed from Ventus's protective armor, he too hits the strange liquid surface like it's solid, before slowly sinking in. I am, like, losing my ability to speak. I will finish this paragraph. It has to come to an end. Mega Magician, that's the point. That's what we all need here. Sora, who we know is at the bottom of the abyss, and the direct comparison they use when speaking on Aqua's current situation. That all said, with having to dive as deep as they do to even reach her, it begs the question of how differently things could have gone in the first timeline. If they never had a means or connection strong enough to save Aqua, they potentially wouldn't have had all the Guardians of Light. The organization might have had to enact on their plans of utilizing the new 7 Princesses of Heart. This too, the Princesses, is another plotline brought up and dropped. Dropped, yes, because with Aqua and thus Ventus, they gathered all the Guardians of Light, rendering the princesses unnecessary. The game even specifically mentions Kairi is still a Princess of Heart, despite the rest giving up their lights, and this is never brought up again. But the fact remains that the chess game suggests 7 lights had to come to save Sora, when we never really found or even met all of them. However, one thing remains constant. Princess or Guardian, Kairi would always remain a vital piece for Xehanort's plan, and would always be in danger. Next time on Glee, Toy Story, and why it's gay. Literally save my voice. Like, literally save me? Like, but what if maybe the whole time, maybe this whole time, it's been right in front of us. I needed to bring us all here, okay? We need to be here together as a family. Carlos, thank you. Don't call it that. Don't call it that. Don't call it that. Anyway, I have to go have lunch with my mother. Thank you all for coming along with me on this adventure with us, with me. On Monday, I guess, we'll finish, and then we'll start Dragon Age. So we're gonna have tonal whiplash, the likes of which you've never even comprehended. I love you all very much. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good weekend. Goodbye!